Good morning, everyone. Let's begin with your doubts. So please post your doubts. We solve that first and then we go to sale and lease back. Let's begin with your doubts. If there are no doubts, we continue with AS19 sale and lease back. So sometimes what happens is, it is not only that you are looking for some interest. It is so many times it so happens that you want to also maintain relations with someone. So you will do that person a favor so that that person also does a favor to you. So if you think purely from financial viewpoint, it may be so. But we will think in this way that tomorrow if I need some help from A, then A should also come back and help to me. So it is not only calculation of interest, it's also your social relations with everyone. So a lot of people may enter into such transactions because of that. Right? I hope Pushti that solves your doubt. Okay, fine. So if there are no more doubts, let's continue with AS19. First, let me quickly revise with you what we did yesterday, sale and leaseback. In fact, let's revise from operating lease. So operating lease, what is operating lease? It is a lease other than finance lease. A lease other than finance lease is known as an operating lease. Right, okay, look at the next point. It says accounting treatment. Accounting treatment for operating lease. What is the accounting treatment for operating lease? Let's check that. In the books of lesser, you will recognize lease rent as an income on straight line basis. If any other systematic method of allocation is available, we will use that method. And depreciation in this case will be provided by the lessor. Okay, look at the next one again. In the books of the leasee, we will recognize lease rent as an expense on SLM basis. Again, if any other systematic allocation method is available, we will use that method. Since lessor is already charging depreciation, leasee cannot charge depreciation in this case. After that, you have direct expenses incurred. So direct expenses incurred will be recognized either as in either directly to the profit and loss account, or it will be amortized over the lease tenure. So you can pick up whichever you want, and it is the same treatment for the lessor and the leasee, unlike finance lease where the lessor was given the choice to either recognize in the profit and loss account or defer over the lease tenure, but the leasee had to capitalize the same. Right, over here you have one common treatment. Then we went to sale and leaseback. What is the meaning of sale and leaseback? It means when an asset is sold and reobtained on lease, it is known as sale and leaseback. मतलब पहले मैंने बेच दिया फिर उसी पार्टी से वही asset वापस lease पे ले लिया. That is known as sale and leaseback. Now, when you enter into a sale and leaseback, the leaseback can either be finance lease or operating lease. What if it is finance lease? when you make when the seller made the sale, all risk and reward incidental to ownership was transferred from seller to the buyer. Now later on, when he reobtains it back as finance lease, he again gets the risk and reward back in terms of finance lease, which means on reobtaining the asset, the risk and reward is again transferred back to the leasee, which is the same person as the seller, which means in simple language, seller now as leasee continues to enjoy the benefits of ownership. Therefore, you cannot treat such a transaction as sale. Your selling profit will be sale value minus your carrying amount, and this above profit will be deferred and recognized over the lease tenure. So you cannot even straight away charge to the profit and loss account. You will defer and amortize over the lease tenure. Why did we do that? Because people started manipulating. They thought that we could credit the profit and loss account. So they earlier sold it at a higher amount. Because they sold it at a higher amount, they got an opportunity to credit their profit and loss account and show higher profits. These higher profits were shown to the investors in order to obtain money. So the accounting standard board made a revision, and then they said that selling profit will be sales value minus carrying amount. This is not a transaction of sale because the ownership still remains with the leasee who was earlier the seller. And finally, the selling profit cannot will be deferred and recognized over the lease tenure. Right, this is what we studied till yesterday. Now let's go to the next part. Asset is sold and reobtained on operating lease. This is the most important concept. Asset is sold and reobtained as operating lease. You have all the questions in your syllabus based on this. So please understand this carefully. This time you're obtaining the asset back on operating lease. Right, let's understand what happens in operating lease. In operating lease, you only get right to use the asset. The ownership does not transfer from seller to the buyer, which means the ownership does not transfer from the lessor to the leasee. You only get right to use the asset. Now the question is, how will you treat sale and lease back in case of operating lease? Before that, let me quickly revise with you sale and lease back as finance lease. When the seller sells the asset, he transfers all the risk and reward to the buyer. When he obtains the same asset back on lease as a finance lease, then as a leasee, he is getting the right to use plus the ownership from the lessor. So the seller will continue to have ownership, but this time he will have the ownership in the form of leasee, which means the ownership still remains with the seller, though the sale transaction has been complete. Now this is not a sales transaction. The selling profit will be selling value minus WDV. This cannot be straight away credited to the profit and loss account. It will be deferred and amortized over the lease tenure. Right? This is what we studied in sale and lease back finance lease. Now let's come to sale and lease back operating lease and see what they have given. Once the asset is sold, the ownership is transferred from seller to the buyer. Right? The same point was there in the above concept as well. The asset is then reacquired as an operating lease. Very important, please underline, which only provides right to use the asset. So now we are only going to get right to use the asset. Ownership is not going to get transferred. Right to use the asset is all that we are going to get. Next point. Hence, seller does not get the rights of ownership. This transaction will be treated as a sale. So this transaction is a sale transaction. This transaction is a sale transaction, right? Because the seller does not get the right of ownership. This only provides right to use the asset. Since the ownership is not since the ownership is actually transferred from seller to the buyer, this time we will consider this as a sale transaction, right? See, how do you recognize the selling profit? Dhyan dena. Selling profit, fair market value minus carrying amount. If the answer is positive, it is genuine profit. If it is negative, it is loss. This gain or loss will straight away go to the profit and loss account. So okay, let me write over here and please pay full attention. This is the most important concept. Fair market value, and let me write over here carrying amount. So this is your carrying amount and this is your fair market value. and above that let's put the selling value, right? These are your three important attributes to decide how will you treat sale and lease back from operating lease. ध्यान देना वो क्या बोल रहे हैं, fair market value minus carrying amount. If it is positive or negative, it is genuine profit or loss. Straight away, it will go to the profit and loss account. However, if sale value minus the fair market value, whatever amount you get is your artificially built up profit, a new term that you have now, which is artificially built up profit. What will you do with the artificially built up profit? You will defer and recognize over the lease tenure. Right? I'm repeating it again for you. Then we will take a proper example for that. Selling profit is nothing but fair market value minus carrying amount. If it is gain or loss, it will straight away go to the profit and loss account because it is your genuine profit. Sale value minus fair market value is artificially built up profit. It will be deferred and recognized over the lease tenure, which means sale minus fair market value cannot go to the profit and loss account straight away. It will be deferred and amortized over the lease tenure. Right now, let's understand this with the help of a proper example so that you understand the concept properly. Okay, let's take an example. Say, for example, the carrying amount is, so let's take example 1. Suppose the carrying amount of the asset is 100 rupees. Suppose, okay, all your attention over here. Suppose the carrying amount of the asset is 100 rupees. The fair market value, which means the value at which the asset is being can be sold in the market, is 120. You actually sell it at 110. Right? I'm again repeating it for you. If your carrying amount is 100, मतलब asset का value books में WDV कितना है 100, वही चीज हम मार्केट में पता करने गए कितने में बिक सकता है, तो किसी ने कहा 120 जितना आपको मिल सकता है. हमने एक्चुअली कितने में बेचा 110 में. Now everyone on your chat box, my first question to you is, are you selling within the limits of the fair market value? Everyone on your chat box, are you selling within the limits of your fair market value? Yes or no? Okay. Yes, of course, your limit is 120, but you're selling at 110, which means everyone is selling at the limit within the fair market value. Now, because you have sold within the limit of the fair market value, we have no problem. We will straight away say 110 minus 100 is equal to how much? 10 is your genuine profit. This genuine profit will straight away go to the profit and loss account. Are you understanding? Dhyan dena. This is for example 1. This is for what? Example 1. Are you getting it again? Example number 1. In example number 1, you have selling price 110, fair market value 120, carrying amount is 100. So since you sold within the limits of the fair market value, 110 minus 10, 10 rupees is your genuine profit, will straight away go to the profit and loss account. Are you getting it? Okay, ab dhyan dena. Your carrying amount is 100, your fair market value is 120, you sold it at 80. Again, I have the same question for you. Are you selling within the limits of the fair market value? Everyone on your chat box. Are you again in example number 2 selling within the limits of your fair market value? Your limit of fair market value is 120, but you sold at 80. So are you selling within the limit of your fair market value? Yes or no? Okay, everyone agrees we have sold within the limit of the fair market value. 120 तक हम बेच सकते थे, हमने तो 120 से कम ही बेचा है, which means it is again within the limit of the fair market value. In example number 2, it will be 80 minus 100. 20 will be your loss, will straight away go to the profit and loss account. Are you getting it? Okay, the interesting part The interesting part will be, in this case, example number 3. Example number 3, ध्यान देना, 100 rupees is my value. 100 rupees is my carrying amount. This asset can be sold at 120, but you actually sold at 150. Right? Are you getting it? Carrying amount is how much? 100. Fair market value is how much? 120. You sold it at 150. Now my question again is the same to you. And that question is, are you selling within the limit of fair market value? This time, are you selling within the limit of the fair market value? Everyone, very important question. Please answer so that I can explain to you properly and ensure you have understood my question. Are you selling within the limit of the fair market value? You are not selling within the limit of the fair market value. You are selling beyond the limit of the fair market value. Now see what concept accounting standard board applies, and everyone please pay full attention to what I'm trying to explain to you. If I follow the same method that we have already followed till now, then what I will have to do is, if I follow the same method, I will do 150 minus 100. 50 will straight away go to the profit and loss account, which means I am allowing the higher amount, the sale value, to be recognized. But the accounting standard board does not allow so. Why? Because if they allow this, तो कल तो मैं यहाँ पे 500 लिख दूंगा. Right? If I write 500 over here, 500 minus 100, 400 will go to my profit and loss account. So I can keep manipulating my profit and loss account. The accounting standard board is very clear that if you take selling value minus the carrying amount, then the amount, if straight away goes to the profit and loss account, then everyone is in a position to manipulate. The accounting standard board asked someone, right? The accounting standard board asked someone that, sir, how can you sell it at 150? Fair market value is 120. How can you sell it 150? The answer of the other person was that, sir, this is my asset. I am the owner of the asset. I am the one who is selling. Someone else is buying. I am the owner of the asset. When I don't have a problem to sell at 150, the other person does not have a problem to buy at 150. We have a right to enter into any transaction at any amount. Then who are you to interfere in our case? That is what the industry told the accounting standard board. The accounting standard board said, okay, no problem. If you have the right to do everything, then we also have a right to amend the accounting standard. They amended the accounting standard, and then they introduced a new concept. See what they explained, and please understand the logic as well. They said कि 120 रुपए में ये प्रोडक्ट बिक सकता है. हम जानना चाहते हैं कि ऐसा कौन है जो 120 रुपए की चीज का 150 रुपए दे रहा है. Right? Which means if each one of you are aware that there is one chocolate known as Perk, which is available at rupees 10 in the market, will any one of you give rupees 15 for the same? Will any one of you give rupees 15 for the same? If there is no problem in the city, it is available everywhere, all shops are open, you have choices of suppliers. My question to you is, if there is one chocolate of rupees 10, will you pay rupees 15 for the same? You will never pay rupees 15 for the same. In fact, let me tell you, you will never pay rupees 11 for the same. Forget about 15 rupees. You will never pay rupees 11. Logically, no one will pay rupees 11 for that. Even I will not pay rupees 11 for a chocolate that basically has a value of 10 rupees. Which means we want to understand कि ऐसा तो कौन है जो आपको इतना सारा ज्यादा पैसा दे रहा है. ऐसा कोई हो ही नहीं सकता जो आपको इतना ज्यादा पैसा दे रहा है. जो भी ये आप 150 पे बेच रहे हो, ये आप जानबूझ के इन्फ्लेट कर रहे हो अपने प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट को. That is why we amended the accounting standard 19 and we said fair market value minus the carrying amount. ये fair market value minus the carrying amount, ये क्या है? आपका genuine profit है. Right? Market value कितना है? Market value हमारे प्रोडक्ट का है 120 रुपए उस, और आपका वैल्यू है 100 रुपए. तो ये बात ठीक लग रही है कि 20 रुपीज आपका जेन्युइन प्रॉफिट है, एंड दिस जेन्युइन प्रॉफिट विल गो टू द the profit and loss account. However, on the other hand, if I look at the next one, जो आपने 150 में बेचा है, which is nothing but the sale value minus your fair market value, मतलब 120 में बिकता था, आपने 120 में बेचा है, जो 30 रुपीज है, ये आपने प्रॉफिट बनाया है. It is artificially built up profit. This is your artificially built up profit. This artificially built up profit will not go straight away to the profit and loss account. It will be deferred and amortized over the lease tenure. मतलब अगर आप आर्टिफिशियल प्रॉफिट बिल्ड भी कर रहे हो तो वो सारा का सारा 30 रुपीज एक साथ पीएनएल में नहीं जाएगा. That will be deferred and amortized over the lease tenure. Are you getting it? That will be deferred and amortized over the lease tenure. Are you getting it? Again, I am explaining to you. Example number 3 says that if 100 rupees is your carrying amount, fair market value is 120 and the selling value is 150. Then in this case, you will have fair market value minus the carrying amount is your genuine profit. 20 rupees will go to the profit and loss account. 150 minus 120 will be your artificially built up profit, will be deferred and amortized over the lease tenure. Now I want to ask each one of you a question, and after that we take your doubts. I want to ask you a question. When I sell at 150 and I buy and my carrying amount is 100, what is my total profit? My question to you is, what is my total profit? Okay, everyone, what is my total profit? 50. Now please pay attention. What is my total profit in my solution? Can you see this? 20 genuine profit plus 30 artificially built up profit. My total is also 50. The only thing is entire 50 does not go to the profit and loss account. 20 goes to the profit and loss account. 30 will be deferred and amortized over the lease tenure. Right? Please understand, this is the most important point, that your total profit recognition does not change. तब भी आपका प्रॉफिट 50 आ रहा था, अब भी 50 आ रहा है. सिर्फ डिफरेंस ये है कि मैं सारा का सारा 50 एक टाइम पे पीएनएल में क्रेडिट नहीं कर रहा हूँ. 20 I am crediting now, 30 will be deferred and amortized over the lease tenure. So say for example, if the lease tenure is 5 years, so every year 6 rupees will go to the profit and loss account, and at the end of the 5th year, the entire profit of 30 will also go to the profit and loss account. Right? Quickly, everyone on your chat box, are you clear with this? Okay, I have one doubt which says that in example number 2, isn't it prone to manipulation because fair value is rupees 120 and I am selling at 80, so as to reduce my profit? Now, please understand this. Please understand this example, Raj. Say for example, I am selling at 120. Yes, okay, I am selling at 120. And say for example, the carrying amount is 150. Now, and you are the buyer. Now, if you are the buyer and I am the seller, please understand, will I actually have a loss of rupees 30? Raj, I have a question to you. Will I actually have a loss of rupees 30, or I am unnecessarily showing a loss of 30? Is it actual loss or artificial loss? Is it actual loss or artificial loss? Actual loss. So actually, if I am bearing the loss, and this is the true position that I have had a loss, how is it manipulation? In this case, there are very less chances that anyone will do manipulation. Why? Because when you are selling at a lower price, आप अपना बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट सोचो, आपकी एसेट जब बुक से बाहर जाएगी, 150 रुपीज की एसेट है, आपने 120 में बेची है, तो आपकी जर्नल एंट्री क्या होगी? बैंक अकाउंट डेबिट 120, लॉस ऑन सेल ऑफ एसेट अकाउंट डेबिट 30 टू एसेट अकाउंट 150. आपकी बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स में ये एंट्री आ गई. नाउ हाउ विल यू मैनिपुलेट? How will you recover your 30 rupees that you have received less? there are very less chances that someone can do a manipulation in this case. However, let me also explain to you how someone can manipulate by increasing the selling price. मान लीजिए मैंने ही आपको 100 रुपए की चीज 150 रुपए में बेची, जबकि वैल्यू कितनी थी 120। मतलब I have taken 30 rupees more from you. In this case, what I will do is, if at all I want to manipulate, I will tell you that since I have taken 30 rupees more from you, I will give you some product or some service belong pertaining to 30, and that time you do not pay 30 rupees to me. So this kind of manipulation can be done. However, if you look at the loss position, you will actually have to record the loss in the books. Now, because you will actually have to record the loss in the books, how will you treat it? There are very less chances that manipulation can take place in this case, right? I hope that solves your doubt and you are now absolutely clear with it. Okay, if you take that, I didn't understand. My fair value, your fair value is 120 rupees. Your fair value is 120, and you sell it at 40, 80 rupees. So how can you take 40 rupees? My question to you, Raj, is how much will you actually receive? How much cash will you receive? Okay, so you will receive 80 rupees cash. What is your carrying amount of the asset? What is your carrying amount of the asset? 100. Okay. आपने कहने से आपने 100 रुपए की चीज 80 रुपीज में बेची, आपने मुझे ही बेची. चलो, let's take that example. Let's make this a transaction of rupees 8. Is this transaction correct? Am I understanding your question correctly? Now explain to me, how are you saying take 40 rupees privately? Can you explain that to me? Can you explain the 40 rupees thing that you have written above? Okay, till that I'll take another doubt, which says, but it may happen that it is fake loss and seller knowingly sells the asset at loss. When the seller is selling the asset at loss, how can it be a fake loss? जब सेलर क्लियर कट बता रहा है, आप खुद ही लिख रहे हैं कि सेलर असेट को लॉस पे बेच रहा है, तो वो फेक लॉस कैसे हुआ? वो तो एक्चुअल लॉस हुआ ना. So please recheck your question, and if there is any change, post it over here. Right, okay. Till I get that out, let's proceed with one more example to clearly understand this concept. Then we go to a practical question. Example number 1, which says, example number 1, example number 4, which says that your carrying amount of the asset is 80, fair market value is 100, and the value at which you will sell is 110. Now, again, my question to each one of you is, are you selling within the limit of fair market value? Are you selling within the limits? No. Okay, let's Break this up into two. Tell me, how much is your genuine profit in the question? On your chat box, how much is your genuine profit in the question? How much is your genuine profit in the question? You get 100 minus 80. You get 100 minus 80, that is 20. This is your genuine profit. Where will it go? Profit and loss account. Okay, can you tell me what is your artificially built up profit? How much is your artificially built up profit? You get 10. What will you do with the artificially built up profit? You will defer and amortize over the lease tenure. Fine, okay. So I hope this concept is now clear. I have just one small doubt. Let me take that and then we go to the practical question pertaining to this. Okay, so that doubt says, just give me a moment. Let me locate that. Okay, I have one doubt which says that carrying amount is 100, fair value is 120. So ideally it should be sold at 120, but I will take 80 so as to recognize the loss of 20, and 40 I will take privately. First question, how will you take 40 privately? You mean to say that you will take 80 rupees on books and you will take 40 rupees out of the books, means without accounting? That is what you mean? You will take 40 but you will not account for it. Yes, okay. Now my question to you is, you do that, I have no problem. The question to you is, why will I do so? Because when I'm purchasing an asset, which means I am recording an asset at a lesser value by 40 rupees, I am paying also, but I'm not going to get any benefit in the books of accounts. How is that possible? Second, if I see the valuation, if I see the valuation, if I decide that I will record it at the revaluation model, when at the end of 1 year, see I have already, if I do so, मान लो आपसे relation है तो मैं ऐसा कर भी लेता हूँ. मान लो एक बार मैंने ऐसा कर लिया, आपसे 40 रुपीस का जो आप बात कह रहे हैं वो मैंने कर लिया. Now when I am doing this, please understand, today I am recording at 80 when the fair market value is 120. After 1 year, when I will do the revaluation of the asset, that time if my asset comes to 70, it will actually be of how much? 110, which means I have to revalue 40 at that time. And on that 40, which I have not even recorded in the books, my asset will directly get increased by 40 and I will have a problem, because that amount, rather than going to its proper place, will go to the revaluation reserve account. So technically you may be interested in such a transaction, but I as the buyer will never do so. Plus, most important point, on 40 rupees, I am also losing the depreciation portion. So technically, a buyer will never do this. A buyer would never want to do this. And when at the time of revaluation, it comes to 110, the taxing authorities will ask you that how did you not record at that time? Why has suddenly the value of your asset increased? If you say yes, then they will tell you आपके जैसे ये asset 10 और लोगों के पास है, उनकी books में तो ऐसा कुछ नहीं दिख रहा है. ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है कि आपकी asset suddenly इस साल has upward revaluation? Right, so there are all these things which are linked to each other, and you will have to see the holistic approach in order to do any such kind of fraud or any such kind of manipulation. right? I hope now this is conceptually and absolutely clear to you. So in example number 3, as I told you earlier, someone can buy at a higher price and then you can recover that in the form of any service that you are giving to them. So say for example, my value of the asset is, correct value is 120. I tell you कि अभी 150 में ले लो, मुझे अपना प्रॉफिट ज्यादा दिखाना है, फिर मैं आपको 30 रुपीज जो मैंने आपसे एक्स्ट्रा लिए उसकी मैं आपको कोई ना कोई सर्विस दे दूंगा, आप उस वक्त मुझे पैसे मत देना, वो हम बुक्स में अकाउंट नहीं करेंगे. Are you getting it? So somehow what happens is, see, you do not want to manipulate profit for a longer time. You want to manipulate profit for the current financial year. तो मान लो इस financial year 31st March 2020 को आपका इतना अच्छा profit नहीं है. So in order to boost that profit, you will try and manipulate in the current year. You will not manipulate. You will not be manipulating this every time. You will look at the situation, then accordingly you will manipulate. So it's a short-term kind of a thing that you can of course recover or settle in the immediately next financial year, right? I hope that is absolutely clear to you. If yes, then let's proceed to the next one, which says, let's go to a practical question now. This is what we've already done. If the fair value is less than the carrying amount, then profit or loss shall be treated as follows: sale value minus fair value should recognize the profit or loss immediately. Sale value is less than fair value, we will charge to the loss. Okay, leave this. We've already discussed and understood this clearly. Let's go to a practical question so that you properly understand this. Let's go to one practical question based on sale and leaseback. Yes, you have one question on sale and leaseback. Question number 8. Come to page number 45, question number 8. Come to page number 142, question number 8. Page number 142, question number 8. Okay, I will solve this question for you. The remaining questions that you have, I will have it solved from you, right? So please understand this question carefully. I am solving the entire question for you. Please pay full attention. And after that, you will solve the remaining 2 questions for me. Okay, let's come to question number 8, which says, X Limited sold a JCB machine having a WDV of 50 lakhs to Y for 60 lakhs. Okay, so you have a machine whose WDV is how much? 50 lakhs. And the sale value is how much? 60 lakhs. Okay, see, I'm writing the question for you. And the same JCB was leased back by Y Limited. Very important. The lease is an operating lease. Underline that. The lease is an operating lease. Underline that. Right, again I'm repeating the question for you. JCB was leased. X Limited sold a JCB to Y Limited and reobtained that asset on lease. The lease was an operating lease. At the time of sale, the WDV was 50 rupees and the sale value was 60 lakhs. Okay, ab dekho. Let's proceed to the next point. It says, comment accordingly, according to the relevant accounting standard. If sale value, it says sale value of rupees 60 lakhs is equal to the fair market value. Okay, let's take case 1. लेट्स टेक केस वन, ध्यान देना वो क्या बोल रहे हैं। केस वन में क्या हुआ है, योर सेल वैल्यू एंड फेयर मार्केट वैल्यू इज ऑल्सो 60 lakhs. Okay, everyone quickly on your chat box, are we selling within the limit of the fair market value? Please pay attention, are we selling within the limit of the fair market value? Are we selling within the limit of the fair market value? Everyone on your chat box, please focus. This is one of the most important questions of this standard, and this is the only technical part remaining in the standard. Everyone agrees we are selling within the limits of 60 lakhs. मतलब 60 lakhs में बेचना था, हमने 60 पे ही बेचा, which means 60 lakhs minus 50 lakhs is how much? 10 lakhs is my genuine profit. It will go to the profit and loss account. It will go to my profit and loss account. So I will write over here, X Limited should recognize the profit of rupees 10 lakhs immediately in the books. Right, your fair market value is how much? 60 lakhs. Your sale value is also 60 lakhs. WDV is 50 lakhs. Since you're selling within the limits of the fair market value, we have no problem with you. You can record the entire profit in the profit and loss account. Right? Quickly copy this down, then we go to case number 2. Quickly copy it down so that we can go to case number 2. Okay, let's go to case number 2 if you're done with this. I'm reading case number 2. Fair value is 50 lakhs and the sale price is how much? 45 lakhs. Okay, let's write all the factors together so that you do not have any kind of confusion. It says your WDV is how much? WDV remains 50 lakhs. This time your sale value is how much? 45 lakhs. And your fair market value in this question is how much? Fair market value is 50 lakhs. Whenever you write this, always cross check with the question so that you have not made any silly mistake. Your WDV in the question is 50 lakhs, which remains the same. Fair market value is also 50 lakhs and your sale value is 45 lakhs. Okay, let me add it over here as well. Okay, so you have WDV, sale value and fair market value. Let's focus on case number 2. Again, I have a very simple question to you. And you will ask this question to yourself. Are we selling within the limit of the fair market value? Are we selling within the limit of the fair market value? Yes, we are selling within the limit of the fair market value. Then you will think in this way, that my selling value is 45 and my WDV is 50, which means I am incurring a loss of rupees 5 lakhs. Loss of rupees 5 lakhs will straight away go to the profit and loss account. It is a correctly recorded loss. Loss of rupees 5 lakhs should recognize a loss of rupees 5 lakhs. Okay, loss of rupees 5 lakhs in the books. I'm adding one more statement over here. Please pay attention so that some of you who have a doubt in this will be then clear. This loss will be provided only if there is no condition that loss will be compensated in the future. ध्यान देना वो क्या बोल रहे हैं, इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट. व्हाट दे आर सेइंग इज, अगर आपने कोई ऐसा अग्रीमेंट किया है कि आज लॉस रिकॉर्ड कर लेते हैं, आगे चल के मैं आपको कॉम्पेंसेशन दे दूंगा पर अभी मुझे लॉस पे बेचने दो, then you cannot recognize the loss immediately. In that case you cannot recognize the loss at all in the books of accounts. Are you getting it? तो वो जो फ्रॉड का एक चांस था वो भी यहाँ पे इन्होंने हटा दिया है. They are saying this loss will be recognized only if there is no condition that the loss will be compensated in the future. Just in case if the loss is even compensated in the future, then again this loss will have to be reversed to the credit side of the profit and loss account. Are you understanding? I hope this is clear to you. Take this down. Take this down properly. If you have any doubts, please ask me. I will quickly give you an example for this. It says X Limited has, so say for example, if they enter into an agreement this way that WDV is 50 lakhs, but I am selling you at 45 lakhs, 5 lakhs that loss I am incurring today, you compensate to me later on, maybe in the next financial year. Now, since I know that it is all that I am going to be compensated, I cannot recognize this loss today. Right, so if there is any clause in the question that says that it will be compensated in the future, then you cannot recognize that today. Now how will this happen is, this will happen in this way, that the authorities will keep an eye whenever you are selling at loss. If the authorities identify it and then they will cross check that is there any hint that we are getting that this loss has been compensated. If it does, they will tell you to reverse the entire loss of 5 lakh rupees. Right, I hope that is clear to you. Okay, come to case number 3. Come to case number 3. Case 3. It says fair value is 55 lakhs, sale value is 62 lakhs. Okay, let's write this. WDV remains the same. Fair value in the question is 55 lakhs and sale value is how much? 62 lakhs. Always cross check after writing this. WDV 50 lakhs, okay. Fair value 55 lakhs and sale value 62 lakhs. Look at the question and tell me. And ask yourself this question every time. Are you selling within the limits of fair market value? Always ask yourself this question. Are you selling within the limits of the fair market value? No, which means you will have to bifurcate into two: artificially built up profit and genuine profit. Okay, let's do that. In this case, and Ishita, this was your doubt. I've already explained over there, but now you have a chance to understand it with a practical example. So please concentrate over here. I will think in this way कि जिस चीज का सब लोग 55 lakhs दे रहे हैं, कैसे कोई 62 lakhs दे सकता है? ये पॉसिबल नहीं है, ये जरूर कोई ना कोई टाइप का मैनिपुलेशन है. तो इस केस में व्हाट वी विल डू इज फेयर मार्केट वैल्यू माइनस fair market value minus the carrying amount, which will be how much? 55 lakhs minus 50 lakhs. You get how much? 5 lakhs is your genuine profit. This genuine profit will go to the profit and loss account. This genuine profit will go to the profit and loss account. Then you have sale value minus fair market value. What's your sale value? 62 minus 55. You get how much? 7 lakhs is your artificially built up profit. Artificially built up profit will be deferred and amortized over the lease tenure. You will defer and amortize this over the lease tenure. Come to the last case. Case number 4. Okay, let's understand case number 4. Interesting case, please pay attention. Your WDV remains the same. Your fair value is now 45 lakhs. So fair value becomes 45 lakhs. And against that, the sale price becomes 48 lakhs. Very good case to understand. Your sale value is 45 lakhs and your fair market value is 48 lakhs. Always ask yourself this question: are you selling within the limits of the fair market value? Check. Are you selling within the limits of the fair market value? Your fair market value is 45 lakhs, but you are selling at 48 lakhs. Are you selling within the limits of your fair market value? You are not. Okay, since you are not, let's see how do you treat this. Fair market value minus your carrying amount. What's your fair market value? 45 lakhs minus your WDV is 50 lakhs. 5 lakhs this time is a loss, and this loss will straight away go to the profit and loss account to be recorded if will not be compensated in the future. So this will be recorded only if you are not compensating it in the future. Okay. After this, let's go to the next one, which says, I'm sorry for that. Come to the last point, which says sale value minus the fair market value. Your sale value is how much? 48 lakhs. So sale value 48 lakhs and your fair market value is 45 lakhs. So 3 lakhs is your artificially built up profit, will be deferred and amortized over the lease tenure. Now, if you look at the question, let's cross check whether whatever you have done is correct or not. What is your actual loss in the question? What is your actual loss in the question? Actual loss. Actually, आपको कितना loss हुआ है question में? Calculate and tell me. What's your actual loss in the question? 2 lakhs. Okay, everyone, calculate your actual loss. What is your actual loss in the question? 2 lakhs. See, I am also getting 2 lakhs loss. I record 5 lakhs loss, means I record minus 5 and I have plus 3. Calculate that. Minus 5 plus 3. You still get loss of 2 lakhs. Are you understanding? So in this way, you can always cross check whether your solution is correct or not. Take this down. Take down case number 4 and quickly on your chat box let me know. Are you clear with this? Quickly on your chat box. Are you clear with this? Are you clear with this? Okay, everyone, please let me know. Are you clear with this so that I understand and then I treat the next question accordingly. So everyone on your chat box, tell me, are you clear with this? So that will go to the profit and loss account. So Raj, the answer to your question is profit and loss account. Okay. Since you have no anyone else has a doubt, please quickly put it in over here so that we can proceed with the next question. Fine, if you're clear with everything, let's go to the next question. Which is your question number 16 on page number 149. Question number 16, page number 149. Now I want 6 of you who can solve this question to me. Who can solve this question for me? Let me know who would like to try. 6. There are 6 questions in question number 16. I want 6 of you. Probably 6 of those who did not solve it yesterday. I want 6 new students who can solve this for me. And right, it's okay if you make a mistake. I don't think I do any such thing that you should not answer or you should not try. I want 6 students, 6 of you who can try. Quickly, I want 6 new people who can solve it. Or in that case, let me choose. Uh, can you try? Can you try Dhara? Can you try? Okay. So the first case you will try. Second case, can you try Ishika? Can you try? Okay. So I have 2. Then let me see who else can do it. Okay, can you try Yash Patel? Can you try? Okay, perfect. So we have the first case for Dhara. The second one goes to Yash. The third one goes to Raj. The fourth one goes to Spruha. The fifth one goes to Ishita. The sixth one goes to Ishika. I think I am missing someone. Just give me a moment. Okay, I have all. Perfect. I'm reading the question. Dhara, I will unmute you in a while and you will help me out with the exact format that we have followed. Understand the question carefully and then you will answer the question. Okay, I'll put the basic information for you. A Limited sold machinery having WDV of 40 lakhs to B Limited for 50 lakhs, and the same machinery was leased back by B Limited to A Limited. The lease back was an operating lease. So if I look at the question, A has sold a machinery to B. At that time, the WDV was how much? 40 lakhs. So I'm writing over here, WDV was 40 lakhs and my sale value was 50 lakhs. So sale value comes to 50 lakhs. Okay. My fair market value in the question, comes to case number 1. Selling price of 50 lakhs is equal to the fair market value of 50 lakhs. Okay. So this is your case number 1. We are doing question number 16. Please mark question number 16. Important last day revision question. Last day revision and important question. Okay. Dhara, go ahead.
So over here the carrying amount is 40 lakh and face value and sale value is same, that is 50 lakh. So we'll record the profit immediately.
No,
So
I request you to go stepwise. What you do at the first place is just check the values that I have written over here. WDV, sale value and fair market value. Just compare that with the question. Are they correct? Okay. If they are correct, what is the question you ask yourself in this case?
sorry, I didn't understand that.
You ask every time we ask ourselves a question in this case, are we selling within the limits of the fair market value?
Yes, we are
Yeah.
selling within the fair limit of the fair value.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead then.
So fair value minus carrying amount, we'll get 10 lakh profit.
Fair market value minus the carrying amount, which is how much? What's your fair market value?
50 lakhs.
Are you sure we take fair market value?
Yes.
Just cross check. Have we taken fair market value? Case number 1, see, I am pointing it out to you. You don't look at fair market value. If you look at case 1, what you do is you see when you're not, remember one rule, when you're not exceeding the fair market value, then you ignore the fair market value. You will simply do sale value minus WDV. You need to look at the fair market value. However, I agree your answer will remain the same. That's okay. I understand that. But if the checker is very specific, he will deduct 1 mark for you. So what you have to think in this way, the moment if you're not exceeding the fair market value, immediately ignore it in this question. Then you only look at the sale value and the WDV. Okay, please go ahead.
So 50 lakhs minus 40 lakhs. That will give you a profit of 10 lakh.
This is what? Genuine profit?
Genuine profit.
This is your genuine profit. Where will it go?
In the P&L account.
So you will record this in the profit and loss account. Okay. So your last statement will be, your concluding statement will be, X Limited should recognize the profit in of rupees 10 lakhs immediately in the books. Okay, Dhara, thank you so much. Okay. Okay, Yash, go ahead.
Sir, here in this case, we are given fair market value of 60 lakh rupees.
Just give me a second, I'll copy that for you. Okay. In case number 2, yes, please go ahead.
Fair market value given is 60 lakh rupees.
So fair market value is changing to 60 lakhs. Everything else remains the same?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And here in this case, our sale value is under the fair market value.
So we are not exceeding the limit of the
Ye-
fair market value.
Yes.
Immediately you will ignore fair market value now, since you're not
Yes.
exceeding the limit. Okay, go ahead then.
Then we'll be recording sale value minus return down value.
WDV, very good. Will be how much?
50 lakhs minus 40 lakhs is equal to 10 lakhs
50 minus 40
is equal to
is
10
your
lakhs.
10 lakhs.
Genuine profit
Genuine profit. Okay,
will record it into P&L account.
this will straight away go to the profit and loss account. Okay,
Yeah.
and what will be your final statement? The
X
same
limited.
one.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Yash.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, after that we have Raj. So just wait for a moment. Okay, go ahead. Case number 3.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible. Please go ahead.
So in case 3, we have our WDV as rupees 40 lakhs.
Okay.
Sale value is 38 lakhs.
In case number 3, your sale value is 38 lakhs. Okay.
And fair market value 45 lakhs.
Fair market value 45. Okay. Just quickly cross check whether all these values are correct or not. Otherwise, you will end up making a silly mistake.
Yes, sir, it is correct.
They are correct? Okay, good. Then go ahead.
So first of all, we will see that are we selling within the limits of fair market value? So yes, we are selling within the limits of fair market value.
Okay.
So we will ignore that. And we have sale value minus WDV, that is 38 minus 40 lakhs.
Perfect.
So we have a loss of rupees 2 lakhs, which is a genuine loss.
Lakhs is your loss. Okay.
And it will be recognized in P&L account.
Okay. What you're saying is absolutely correct. Just one small thing I want to correct. Never write in the exam genuine loss. A loss is always to be, because the loss is never split in this question. So, or just mention loss. The concept that you have understood is fine, but don't mention genuine word in front of the loss in the exam. Right? So, what will be your final statement?
X Limited should recognize the loss of rupees 2 lakh immediately in the books of accounts.
Okay, so X Limited will have a loss of rupees 2 lakhs immediately in the books. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, after that you have the 4th case. Go ahead.
Okay, sir. So here in 4th case, we have fair value of rupees 40 lakhs.
Wait, let me put that for you. Fair value is how much?
40 lakhs.
Okay.
Sales price is 50 lakhs.
Selling value is 50 lakhs. Very good.
And our WDV is same 40 lakhs.
Your WDV is exactly the same, that is 40 lakhs. Okay. What should we do? And quickly check the values whether you have taken the correct values or not.
It's correct, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Then we will check first whether it is within the limit of fair, whether our selling price is within the limit of fair value or not.
Okay. Is it?
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Is it or is it not?
No.
It is not. Okay. So can I ignore the fair market value in this case?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
So here our fair market value is 40 lakhs and our sell price is 50 lakhs. So we have the profit of 10 lakhs.
Okay. So wait, let me put that. Sale value, please repeat that.
50 lakhs.
Sale value minus.
Fair value.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
I don't think so. Check it again.
1 second.
Just check that again.
Fair value minus. Okay. We don't have genuine profit in this case because fair value and WDV are same.
I don't think so. Just give it one more thought. If you are able to get it, else I'll explain to you.
Sir.
You can take help of a previous case. Probably you can take help of case number, a case that we have already done. Wait, let me help you out with. Yes, you can look at this case. You can take the help of example number 3 over here. Can you see that example number 3?
Yes, sir.
And you have the solution as well for example number 3. Understand it carefully and then you try and explain to me. It's okay if you're wrong, that is not a problem, but I want you to try.
Okay.
Can we
Yes,
go
sir.
back?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We don't have genuine profit.
Then what will you do?
Then we will just deduct sale price. No, sorry, fair market value from the sales price.
Okay. Then what
So
will you do?
sorry, sir.
Then what will you do?
We will deduct sales price from fair market value. That is, fair market value minus sales price equals to
Okay.
50.
Is equal to, okay, I'll write that for you. Sale value minus
Fair market value
fair market value. Okay.
is equal to 50 lakhs minus 40 lakhs.
Okay.
We get 10 lakh profit.
Perfect.
So we will defer it and amortize over the lease tenure.
What is this called?
Artificially built up profit.
Artificially built up profit. What will you do with this? It will be deferred and amortized over the lease tenure. So I'm writing over here A Limited will defer and amortize profit of rupees, how much? 10 lakhs
Yes.
over the lease tenure. You will also have to explain in this case that you do not have any genuine profit. So can you please help me out? What is the values that I should write over here?
Yes. A fair market value.
Okay. Will you have fair market value over here?
Sorry,
Over here. Over here, how will you record it? I want to write over there that genuine profit is nil.
Okay.
So can you tell the formula that you told me over here was correct? Can you tell me the formula over here?
Yes, sir. Fair market value minus WDV.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Fair market value minus WDV. Okay.
Equals to 40 lakhs minus 40 lakhs equal to 0.
Perfect. So remember, you will always think in this way कि हम 40 में बेच सकते थे. Right, that's your market value. लेकिन हमने बेचा कितने में? 50 में, which means we exceeded the limit. Are you getting it? That is how you will begin thinking. And then you will think in this way that whatever I sold over and above the fair market value is my artificially built up profit, and my WDV and the fair market value will give me my genuine profit.
Genuine profit.
Are you getting it? Okay, fine. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Okay. After this, you have case number 5. Just give me a moment for case number 5. Ishita, go ahead. Case number 5.
Sir, here in this case, the WDV is 40 lakhs.
Just let me put that for you. WDV is 40 lakhs, okay?
The selling price is 50 lakhs.
Okay.
And the fair market value is 46 lakhs.
46. Okay.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Also here, first of all, we will check whether we are selling it beyond the value of the fair market value. So
Okay.
the selling value is 50 lakhs and the fair market value is 46 lakhs. So the difference of the selling value and fair market value, that is 4 lakhs, which is 50 minus 46, is the artificially built up profit.
Okay, fine.
And that profit will be deferred and amortized over the.
Okay, so if you allow me to write, just see whether I'm writing correctly or not. Sale value minus the WDV.
No, fair market value.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sale value minus the fair market value is how much? Your sale
50
value
minus
is
46.
50 minus 46. Very good. Will come to
4 lakhs.
4 lakhs will be, is your what?
Artificially built up profit.
Artificially built up profit. Perfect. After this, what about the next one?
Then the fair market value is also higher than the WDV. So 46 lakhs minus 40 lakhs is my genuine profit. So that will be, I will record in the P&L account.
Okay, the way you named this, sale value minus fair market value, can you also name this?
Yes, fair market value minus WDV.
Perfect. Fair market value minus WDV. Your values are fair market value 46 minus 40, which means you have 6 lakhs as your artificial profit, right?
No, genuine profit.
Perfect. Genuine profit. This genuine profit, where will it go? Profit and loss account. Okay. Just help me out with the last sentence.
So A Limited will defer and amortize the profit of 4 lakhs.
A Limited will defer and amortize the profit of 4 lakhs. Over what? Over the useful life of the asset?
No, over the lease tenure.
Okay. And A Limited will
Record the profit of rupees 6 lakhs immediately in the profit and loss account.
recognize the profit. Is it not loss in this question?
No, sir, it is profit because fair market value is higher than the WDV.
Immediately in the books. I have one question and then I think I am sorted. The one question that I have is, say for example in this case, the fair market value was 60 lakhs. Say for example, the fair market value was 60 lakhs in this case. Then is fair market value important for me in this question?
Yes, sir, because then in that case, the selling value will be less than the fair market value. So we will check that whether we are selling up beyond the limit of fair market
Right, I
value.
agree. So I have understood that I'm not selling beyond the limit of fair market value. Am I right?
Yes.
Now is this information फिर ये कहीं पे भी हम use करेंगे?
No. Here
will you
in
do
this
with
case
this?
we will ignore it and we will reduce. Means we will deduct 40 minus 50 lakhs. So 10 lakh will be the profit, genuine profit.
Okay, thank you, Ishita. Thank you. Okay, come to the last one. Last question. Go ahead, Ishika.
Okay, sir. So here in the case 6, we have written down value 40 lakhs.
Written down value is 40 lakhs, okay.
Sale value 39 lakhs.
Sale value will be 39, okay.
And fair market value is 35 lakhs.
35, perfect. Then
Here sale value is not within the limits of the fair market value.
okay. So will we use fair market value in the question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Then
we will write fair market value minus WDV.
Not the sale value?
No, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Please recheck.
Yes, sir, I'm sure.
Okay, go ahead.
35 lakhs minus 40 lakhs.
35 lakhs minus 40 lakhs. Profit, right?
Sir, loss.
Okay, loss. Where will this loss go?
Profit and loss account.
Okay, good.
Then sale value minus fair market value.
Okay, which is how much?
39 minus 35.
35. Okay.
We will get a profit of 4 lakh, which is artificially built up profit.
4 lakhs is your artificially built up profit. Very good. Then where will it go?
Deferred and amortized over the lease tenure.
Okay. Can you correct these two statements?
Yes, sir. A Limited will recognize the loss of rupees 5 lakh immediately in the book.
Okay, good.
Then A Limited will defer and amortize the profit of 4 lakh over the lease tenure. It's right, sir.
Okay. Is it any chance? Is there any way that I can cross check whether my answer is correct or not in the exam?
Yes, sir.
Can you help me cross check?
Yes, sir. Here we are having 5 lakhs loss and profit of 4 lakhs. So we are getting 1 lakh loss.
Okay, net loss is 1 lakh.
Net loss is 1 lakh.
Correct. So I'm writing over here net loss 1 lakh. How will you cross check that?
So actually we are selling at 39 lakhs
Okay.
and our WDV is 40 lakhs.
Okay.
So we are getting 1 lakh loss.
Perfect. So these two values should match. If they match, means your answer is correct.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Thank you, Ishita.
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Are you clear? Are you all clear with this? Are you all clear with this? Quickly let me know. Are you clear with this entire concept? Okay. If you're clear with this, can someone just correct me if I'm wrong? Question number 1 and 2 is left to be done. So I'm just writing which questions are left to be done. 1 and 2 are left. I guess we have already done question number 3, question number 4, question number 5, question number 6, question number 7 is yet to be done. Question number 8 we just did. Question number 9 we have done. Question number 10 is yet to be done. Then you have question number 11, which also we have done. Question number 12 also we have done. Question number 13 is still to be done. You have question number 14, lease liability. We've already done this. Question number 15 is yet to be done. Question 16 we have done, and question number 17. These are our pending questions. Am I right? Okay, perfect. Come to question number 1. Let's do the theory question. Question number 1. Let's do question number 1. Question number 1. Okay, I'm reading that question for you. We have 2 theory questions. Question number 1. Write a short note on lease, sale and lease back transaction as per the accounting standard. Let's go to our material again. Okay, here we have question number 1. Write a short note on sale and lease back transaction as per accounting standard 19. As per AS 19 leases, a sale and leaseback transaction involves the sale of an asset by the vendor and the leasing of the asset back to the vendor. The lease payments and the sale price are usually interdependent as they are negotiated as a package. The accounting treatment of sale and leaseback depends upon the type of lease involved. We have already seen this. If the sale and leaseback results in finance lease, any excess or deficiency of the sale proceeds over the carrying amount should be deferred and amortized over the lease tenure in proportion of the depreciation of the leased asset. If the sale and leaseback transaction results in operating lease and it is clear that the transaction is established at fair value, any profit or loss should be recognized immediately. So again, they are asking the same question. Are you exceeding the fair market value? If the sale price is below the fair value, any profit or loss should be recognized immediately, except that if the loss is compensated by future lease payments at below market price, it should be deferred and amortized in the proportion of the lease payments over the lease period for which the asset is expected to be used. If the sale price is above the fair market value, the excess of a fair market value should be deferred and amortized over the period for which the asset is expected to be used. That is nothing but your lease tenure. Right, question number 1, we've already studied this kind of a question. Come to question number 2. Explain the types of leases. So there are 2 types of leases as per AS 19. One is your finance lease and the other one is your operating lease. What happens in a finance lease? It is a lease that transfers substantially all the risk and reward incidental to ownership of an asset to the leasee by the lessor, but not the legal ownership, because legal ownership will happen at the end. But if you look at substance over form, you look at the substance of the transaction and not merely its legal form. Okay, after that you have as per the accounting standard, the following situations the lease will be called as a finance lease. The leasee will get the ownership of the leased asset at the end of the lease term. Then you have the leasee as an option to buy the leased asset at the end of the lease term and at a price which is lower than the expected fair value, and the option will be exercised. The lease term covers major part of the life of the asset, even if the title is not transferred. At the beginning of the lease term, fair value of minimum lease payments covers the initial fair value. Present value of MLP covers the initial fair value. The asset given on lease is not of a specialized nature and can be used by the leasee without major modification. Operating lease. It is a lease which does not transfer all the risk and reward incidental to ownership. Lease payments under operating lease should be recognized as an expense in the statement of P&L on straight line basis over the lease term unless any other systematic method of allocation is available. They have not mentioned one point, but I would like to discuss that as well. In a finance lease, it is the leasee who will charge the depreciation. The lessor will not get any depreciation. If you talk about operating lease, the lessor will charge depreciation and the leasee will not get any kind of depreciation. Right? Are you getting it? So now we are only left with one small part of the questions, and I think we will be able to finish off this standard tomorrow. So tomorrow, I don't know, I will get the schedule today for the next week. So if we have a lecture tomorrow, we will be in a position to finish this standard off. Let me quickly once again revise the entire accounting standard 19, and I think that would be sufficient for today. We will revise the entire standard. Please pay attention so that you also revise. Go back home, or go back today and revise the entire accounting standard 19, and then tomorrow we will be in a position to finish off this accounting standard. Right, okay, and tomorrow I will also inform you which next accounting standard we are planning to proceed with. Okay, let's quickly revise AS 19. The heading of the standard is leases. What is a lease? It is an agreement whereby lessor gives right to use the asset to a leasee for an agreed period of time, and in return he gets payments or series of payments which are known as lease rentals. At the beginning of the lease, we must take a decision whether it is finance or operating lease. What happens in finance lease? It is a lease which substantially transfers all the risk and reward incidental to ownership from the lessor to the leasee. You have 6 conditions. If any one of the conditions are satisfied, we will classify it as a finance lease. The first one being ownership of the asset transfers to the leasee at the end of the lease term. Buying option is available and it is reasonably certain that the option will be exercised. Leased asset is of a specialized nature such that only the leasee can use it. Lease is non-cancelable. Lease tenure covers major part of the useful life of the asset. Major part is 75%, and present value of MLP covers substantial portion of the fair value of the asset, which is 90%. How will you have the accounting treatment in the books of leasee? Finance lease will be recognized as asset as well as liability. So for a leasee, it is asset because he's going to receive it, and it is also a liability because we need to pay to the lessor. So asset on lease account debit to lessor account. This will be recorded at lower of fair value of the asset, which is always given in the question, or present value of MLP, whichever is lower. What is the meaning of MLP? Minimum lease payments, which covers lease rent agreed plus guaranteed residual value. You will only take the guaranteed residual value. It will never include any form of repair maintenance. If there is any contingent rent, we will ignore it. And depreciation will of course be charged by the leasee. For calculating the discounting factor, you will first use the interest rate implicit from the viewpoint of the lessor. The alternate choice is pre-tax incremental rate of borrowing. How will you calculate interest rate implicit for the lessor? It is nothing but your IRR from the viewpoint of the lessor. So when it is from the viewpoint of the lessor, you must take total residual value, guaranteed as well as unguaranteed. How will you treat direct expenses? In the books of leasee, you will capitalize, but in the books of lessor, you have a choice. Either you debit to P&L or you amortize over the lease tenure. In the books of lessor, so the lessor is going to sell the asset and he's going to receive money from the leasee. So it is sale as well as receivable. The journal entry will be leasee account debit to asset account. This entry will be recorded at gross value of investment, which is lease rent agreed plus residual value. Residual value includes guaranteed and unguaranteed both. Discount rate again is the same. Interest rate implicit from the viewpoint of the lessor, and depreciation will be charged by the lessor. Then we have seen unearned finance income, which gives you the effect of time value of money. How much you would have received plainly and how much you actually receive after the time value of money is nothing but your unearned finance income. Then we saw operating lease. A lease which is not a finance lease is an operating lease. In the books of lesser, you will recognize lease rent as an income on straight line basis. If any other systematic method of allocation is available, we will use that, and depreciation will be charged by the lessor. In the books of lease, you will record it on straight line basis. However, if any other method is available, we will use that method. Your direct expenses will be, you will have a choice. Either you will recognize it in the P&L or you will amortize over the lease tenure. And then we did sale and lease back. So when you sell an asset and obtain the same asset back on lease, it is known as sale and lease back. The question is whether you are obtaining it as on finance or operating lease. If you are obtaining it at finance lease, then as the leasee, you continue to enjoy the benefits of ownership. This is not sale transaction. Selling profit will be deferred and amortized over lease tenure. I would like to add one more point over this. Selling profit or selling loss, whatever it is, you will defer and amortize over the lease tenure. So that is one doubt which was asked to me, and I'm again repeating that for you, that selling profit or selling loss, both will be deferred and amortized over the lease tenure. If you obtain the asset back as an operating lease, then you get only the right to use. You do not get the ownership rights in that case. Since you do not get the ownership rights in that case, since you get only the ownership, since you do not get the ownership rights in that case, you only get the right to use the asset. You will divide it into two parts. Whatever value goes beyond your fair market value will be your artificially built up profit. So fair market value minus the carrying amount will be your genuine profit, that will go to the P&L. However, sale value minus the fair market value will be your artificially built up profit. You will defer and amortize over the lease tenure. Fine, this is all that we have done till now. Tomorrow we will be doing the remaining 4 or 5 questions that are left. Let me just check my list again. So question number 7, 10, 13, 15 and 17, these are the 5 questions that are left. So we will probably be finishing that tomorrow, and then we will go to a new standard. Right, till then, please revise the entire standard again. I have done the entire revision right now. You also revise it today. Ensure that you have practiced the questions that we have done today, and then tomorrow we will be finishing off the standard, and then we will shift to a new standard. Fine, thank you so much for attending. Do revise the entire standard today and come back to me for doubts, and I will see you today at 3:30 for audit. Right, thank you for attending and see you at 3:30.